welcome to another episode of Untangled, your knitting and sometimes crochet question and answer show with me, Stuart from the Wool Patch.
Me, Jimmy from Jimmy Does Knitting.
Good to see you again, Jimmy. You're ready for another 3 questions?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Question 1 from Karen from California, Ladderback Jacquard. I understand you can use this technique to manage long floats in stranded colourwork. Have either one of you tried it? Would you recommend learning it? I do not enjoy catching floats. They always seem to show in the front. I feel using this technique might help. Right, Karen, I have not used that technique. Never even heard of it. So I'm looking to the expert over there to learn all about it. Jimmy, tell us what it is.
So ladderback jacquard is a way of catching your floats with the floats of the yarn in back. This is typically used for a design that has very large floats. So if you don't want to do intarsia, a lot of times people will do ladderback jacquard, but there could be like 15 stitches of the float carrying, and that's a lot. And so what it is it's almost like, you know, when you crochet pick-up stitches, they do that, and it's on the back, and then it is done in such a way where it adds a little bit of stability, and the floats don't get as wonky, I guess.
Yeah.
So the tension of it isn't crazy, and it's a good way of managing your color work for these really long floats. I have not tried it. I'm interested in trying it, but I've not come with the pattern yet.
Okay. No, it's all right.
Needs it.
So for viewers who are listening and maybe watching though, can you just quickly recap the term float with regard to colour work? Because some people might be going, oh, what do you mean by a float?
Let's explain it all. So when you're doing stranded color work, there is one yarn here. We'll look at this. This is the Modern Mudcloth by Chin Matthews. And what's happening is there's one color of yarn that you're working with at a time. And so there's the color in the front, the working color, and then there's a color just kind of hanging back. And what happens is you can have these really long floats in between, or you could have some not so long floats. And that you could catch a ring in it, you could catch a little finger in it if it's for like a baby, your toe, if it's like something like that. It could also affect the tension of your color work, because if the float's not managed long enough, sometimes people can pull it a bit tight and then it starts to pucker. So that is why they're talking about catching their floats. And so
I get you. Okay, because normally in color work you do what? You do like you've got light brown and rust. You might do light brown and light brown, then you change to a rust and a rust, then you go back to light brown and light brown. You don't really need to catch anything there because there's only 2 stitches between. So what are you talking about? You're talking about stitches that are what, more than 4 or 5 apart if they're long floats, or is that even longer? You're talking 8, 9, 10, 11 before you change the colour. Oh, okay.
It depends on the person. I like to catch the floats every like 4 or 5 stitches, typically. More than 6, I don't know. Just as a reminder, you don't have to catch your floats. You don't ever have to catch your floats. If you don't want to, it's perfectly fine not to catch your floats. But as you can see with this high contrast one, there are a couple parts in this sweater where I've caught the floats, especially in the center motif, and you can kind of see them poking through. There's one, I don't know, over here somewhere. But you can see it poking through a little bit, and that's just because when you catch a float, you're sort of encasing the other yarn in the stitch, and if you're working with high contrast, it can show. In this case, it doesn't really bother me, but if we look at the insides of this, let me show you. This is always fun.
Because catching the float, you're twisting because you know you're not using the rust for say another 8 or 9 stitches, so you're catching it with the new old color just so it doesn't sag. Oh, look at that.
And so then you have this is your typical stranded knitting, and then there's floats that are caught every so often. and
Yeah.
that makes it so it's nice and tight, and it has pretty even tension this way. And this is how most people do stranded knitting, and that's why we catch the floats. But if you have all right tension and you don't mind the yarn in back, you cannot catch the floats. And I have done that with this garment right here.
Oh,
You
they
can
are.
see I have
Karen. That's good, because Karen doesn't enjoy catching floats, and I don't either. So they are, Karen. You can go for it.
I give you permission not to do it, but you see how long some of these floats are? Some of these are like, I don't know,
and they're not
10
they're not
stitches.
sagging at all.
They're not, because my tension is all right. And so
Okay.
if you're conscious of your tension and how you do it, you can have it just doing whatever. These two colors contrast quite a bit. And I knew that if I was going to catch the floats,
Yeah.
that it would for sure show on front. So I didn't want to do it. And so I didn't do it.
So just hold that up again, Jimmy, especially the bottom word there, which I can see. So look at that. Hold it there. Don't move. You're perfect. Yeah. To the left, as we're looking at Jimmy's camera, you can see some really long floats there. So are we saying the jacquard technique, in the middle of that, you'd get these almost like stitches that catch it going up like a spine?
Yeah, it would look like one row of knit stitches,
These.
I guess, in between those
Yeah.
stitches, and then the floats on the either side.
So are you saying Karen's just got to perhaps try it on a knit and see if she likes the technique?
Yeah, you can try it. There are a couple different ways to do it. You could do it with your knitting needles as you go along. I think there's a way to do it with a crochet hook afterwards. But yeah, try it and then see how it does. Some people swear by it. Some people love it. Some people give up and do not care. I personally think if you're okay with your tension, you don't need to play with the catching floats with the jacquard unless you're wondering about snagging like a finger or something on it.
One thing before we do move on, I have just recently done some colour work on a hat. And I was catching my floats. I was doing really well, doing it every 4 or 5. What I found I felt a scupper with, and this is perhaps where Karen says they always seem to show on the front. I was catching my floats, but as I went round and round in the circle, I was catching, because it was repeated. It was a beanie. I was catching my float on the same stitch above each other for about 5 or 6 rows. That's also another thing that made it show. So if you're going to catch your floats, you don't want to catch them in the same place each time, do you?
This is very correct, yes. If you stagger where you catch the floats, it was less likely to show. But if you do them in a line, then it creates a line on the fabric.
Yeah. So I learned that lesson, Karen. I thought I was being really good with catching my floats. Yeah, look at me doing it every 3 or 4. And then they still showed because I did them in the same place. So many things to think about. Good luck, Karen, with whatever you choose. I'd go for it. It's nice to learn a technique. You'll know straight away whether that technique is, I'm loving this, I'm going to do it every time. Or you might go, never going to do that ever again. Let us know. Oh dear. Question 2. Bertus again. Love your questions, Bertus. Help with crocheting with self-stripping. That would be good to have a self-stripping yarn, wouldn't it? A self-striping yarn. And how to make it work correctly. I have checked gauge and I have adjusted hook. It just seems to never work correctly for the way I crochet. Any pointers or tips? And also, Berta says, have you seen the new quilting motif yarn by Red Heart, Stuart? I have. Jimmy, you can have a break. Shall I talk about this one?
Yeah, I have some thoughts on it, but I mean, overall, I don't have a solution for you.
Okay, what Bertus is talking about is this current craze that started, I would think I saw it about 2 years ago in my shop from a brand called Katia. It's self-striping yarn, but it's designed to stripe in a certain place. So your blanket looks like it's got perfect stripes in it. But don't get it muddled with the classic jacquard self-striping yarn that has been around for years, that when it knits up it almost looks like a Fair Isle, or the West Yorkshire Spinner Socks where it looks like a Fair Isle. This self-striping yarn is designed purposely for colour changing, and so it looks perfect. And it's a big thing in crochet. So your granny squares, for example, will have a lilac round 1 in the middle, and then when you would normally colour change for round 2, this special self-striping yarn would change automatically. And it would change for round 2, round 3, round 4. And they've designed the colour change to change at the right place, so it gets longer and longer and longer each time. But as you can see, Bertus is clearly struggling, because if your gauge is wrong, then the stripes won't stripe at the right point. Which will be infuriating. You're doing a granny square, Jimmy, and you get to you're coming to the end of round 2, but you can still see loads of lilac left, and you start round 3 with the lilac. That's not supposed to happen. Your colour should be at the end. So I can understand how infuriating it is, Bertus. And there is no answer other than what you have done. Sorry, that you have done everything possible. You have adjusted your hook and it never seems to work correctly. The only other thing I would say, Bertus, is you've adjusted your hook. You might have to adjust your style. Okay, so you might have to not pull up. Maybe you're a loose crocheter like I am, and every time I pull up a stitch I do a little tug. Maybe you have to start looking at your style too, as well as your tension. But otherwise you've just got to keep changing hooks, and if it's still not meeting, you've just maybe change another hook, and you might have to go down or up many hook sizes. Depends on your tension, but there is nothing you can do. The only other tip I can say is maybe do it all on the same day, because sometimes our tension can change. We might be a little bit uptight one night, and we might be.
Have I ever showed you my gloves?
Hey,
have I ever showed you my gloves?
No.
I knit one pair of gloves one time, one right after a very stressful work thing, and it's probably about 2 sizes smaller, using the same needles and yarn as the other glove. Did not match.
You were just a bit more.
I was so stressed. It was just like this teeny tiny little glove, and then I have this other one that's like normal size. So tension is a thing, and stress and everything is a thing for sure.
Yeah. And you, Bertus, you might have been getting more and more frustrated when you got to the end of round 2, and your colour wasn't coming to the end. And there is nothing you can do. Just keep playing around with hooks, or try adapting the style of your. But then that's the tension as well, isn't it? So just sort of have a look at that. But I saw this, and at first I was like, "Ooh, this looks nice." From Katia, it was called something Magic Granny Squares.
I've seen this too.
And I thought, oh, that does look nice. And Katia had chosen some really lovely colours, just like the Red Lion. They've got some lovely colours, and they've really thought the colours through, and you get 4 or 5 colour changes. And then I just suddenly thought to myself, but what happens if my tension is wrong? I've got to rip back, and then I get it right, but then I might get it wrong for the next round. So I just thought I could be ripping back more times than I could actually be crocheting. And I just thought, it's a gimmick from the yarn world that won't ever really work. Don't you think, Jimmy? Commercial companies.
You just have to have very specific tension in order to make it work. It's as simple as that. It's a great idea. It sounds like a lot of fun, but especially with these granny square ones, you have to be pretty exact with it.
Yeah.
And it's not great. If you're making a specific motif, if it's something just like stripes, it's a lot easier, because it doesn't really necessarily matter where it changes as much.
Yeah, but the Red Lion, Red Lion. I've got
Red
Lion
Heart.
brand and Red Heart. I've got two brands mixed. The Red Heart one is lovely, and I can see it. It would look great on the shelf. And ka-ching, the shop or Red Heart's got their $2.50 or whatever in their pocket, and then you try it, and it will probably be chucked across the room. So I think it was a fad, Bertus. I can't see the companies doing it more and more, and I think yes, it's kind of been and gone. Certainly with Katia, they've stopped doing it now. Sorry, Bertus, but give it a go. Keep changing those hooks, or if not, just chuck it in the cupboard. Do something different.
Be creative. Try something different with it.
Ooh, like that idea. Okay, let us know how you get on. Next question from Jane. Hey Jane, good to have you here again. What's the weather like in the Adirondacks at the moment? I've got rain here. What have you got, Jimmy?
Rain.
That's good, isn't it? That's September for you. This is a Stephen West theme. The first question is for Jimmy. I think I read that one of your local yarn shops is Stephen and Penelope. Have you met Stephen West? I love the knitwear of Stephen West. They've purchased his patterns in hopes I can get over my fear that I won't be able to succeed. For my fellow knitters who are kind of scared to try a West pattern, can you give us tips and ideas on how to get over this fear? Perhaps which pattern would you recommend to try first? His newest sock pattern is so lovely, but scary. Stuart's last shawl was spectacular and equally scary. Oh yes, the Go-Go Dynamo. Oh, bless. Can you help Jane there, Jimmy?
I think so, and I think I can make this a non-Stephen West specific thing. What is happening is you're scared, and knitting is just knits and purls, and you've just got to let go. Sometimes some people are so concerned about knitting in pieces or bottom up or brioche or other things, and it's just a knit. Everything's just a purl. Like, it's all right. Just try it. And then if it doesn't work out or you don't enjoy it, you can rip it out. So I think that that's a good thing to do, is go in fearless. And that's, I think, what I attribute a lot of my knitting success and growth to, is I just tried things and went into it. So knitting without fear. I know Elizabeth Zimmerman has knitting without tears. Just go for it. It's just knitting. It's fine. It's a knit. It's a purl. You'll survive. I think that that's just something that needs to be clear. If I can do it, you can do it.
Oh, I love that advice.
Yeah.
Have you met him?
Yes. Amsterdam is very small in terms of the knitting community. Amsterdam in general is like a bit of a village. So yes, I have met Stephen West once or twice.
I suppose what Jane and many people are feeling with the fear is they look at that finished shawl and it's bloody huge. And that is the bit that is overwhelming, because you think, oh my God, how am I going to knit that? And that's the bit. But they've got to just not think about that. They've just got, as you say, just enjoy just going for it, because it's done over a long period of time, isn't it? So it just grows.
It is. And I think one thing I admire about Stephen West in particular is that he makes these people who probably only knit like stockinette tea towels half the time able to knit these incredible, beautiful shawls with these techniques and these fun stitches and the colors and stuff like that. And they feel empowered and able and confident and held enough in order to do that. And then they come up with these surprising things, and it's stuff that they never thought they would do. They've learned something, and it was fine. It's all fine, because it's just a shawl and it's going to be all right. There's the modular knitting before, there's brioche, there's, a dip stitch here and there, that sort of thing. And you learn these new things and you get to play and explore, and it's only a little bit, and then going forward. So I think it's really great what I guess he can convince people to do.
Oh, absolutely. I hadn't knit a Stephen West shawl before the Go-Go Dynamo last year. Hadn't done anything. Jane, if I could do it, I know you could do it because you're a very experienced knitter. What I would do the mystery knit along. Because everyone's doing it, Jane. So I would sign up for this October, because he's just released it, as in the topic. It's called the musical. Musical. It's very clever play on words. So I would sign up, Jane. Do it, because I'll be doing it. But the beauty of the knit-alongs, and particularly the mystery knit-alongs, is you don't know what you're doing. So there is no fear, because you don't know the end product, do you? It's brilliant, Jimmy, don't you think?
That gives me the fear just to start off with. You will never catch me doing a mystery knit-along. I'm like, what colors do I want? Where do they go? How do I do this? I absolutely stresses me out.
Really? That's fascinating.
I could never. 100%, I could never.
That wouldn't bother me at all.
I think that it's good because it's a different perspective. But like, I think what's a good point is that you are guided. He gives you color suggestions that you could follow. He gives you video tutorials to go with everything. So he literally shows you how to do that. And I think with any shawl or project that you're a little bit nervous with, if it has video tutorials to go with it, I think that that's a great one.
Absolutely.
Get yarn you're excited about, whether it's color, whether it's texture, whether it's a brand, whether it's a special skein that you picked up at a yarn show. Like, try working with that. And I think that these are ways that will make, your MCAL successful, is also doing it with people and have a group and there's some sort of community.
Completely agree with that. Yeah.
But I think that, if you're really particularly concerned about techniques, get something with a video. Or get something that you really like the finished product of. Or get something that you think you can tackle, but like maybe it's just slightly out of reach, but there's also a video and some helpful tips or something like that. If you're concerned about size, maybe a smaller one would be good to experiment with.
I think don't worry about size. I would because if you've never done it before, then you might as well just go whole hog and do, because it won't. You've got nothing to compare it to. But I love your idea about doing it with people, because you get even more enjoyment out of that. And that's what worked so well with the mystery knit along last year. There was so many people doing it. I was in WhatsApp groups. I was doing YouTube about it. We were talking and sharing. Oh, look, you've done it with that colour. That gives a great effect. Oh, you've done it with that colour. That's really interesting. And because it's the mystery knit along, you can only do it in that moment. You haven't got to worry what's coming up. You haven't got to be fearful of what's coming up, because you don't know. And I love that idea. So Jane, you've got to do it. You've got to sign up, get on Ravelry when he releases it, get that pattern. The only thing, Jimmy, I found with the mystery knit along is I don't know how I'll cope if there's a week I don't like. Because if there's a week I don't like, it's like a book. When I'm reading a book and, you get to page 5 or 6 and like, oh, I don't like this, I'll stop reading it. So I'll be the same with the knit. I'll get to week 1 and then I'll start week 2 and I hate week 2. So I'll just stop knitting it. I'll bail.
Well, it's all part of the practice. You got out of it where you needed to. And so if that's how it goes, then that's how it goes.
Yeah. So Jane, there you go. That will be the best thing to do. So much advice there. And there will be videos with the mystery knit along too. But if not, just look at... Are you doing
something on your channel this year? So you're doing the mystery knit along?
I did it last year. I don't know whether the local yarn shop down the road, Gavin and Teresa, I don't know whether they're doing it this year. So I might just do it with me on my own. Do you knit his mystery? No, you don't. You've already said that, don't you? Stupid question.
I've knit a couple of shawls, Stephen West shawls. I knit one shop sample once. The only thing I know about this is that at the beginning of August, he was like, I really need to sit down and figure out what this mystery knit along is because it's coming up. And I'm like, it's the beginning of August.
What?
And we haven't even started.
I thought he would have these planned like 2 years in advance.
No, he's very much a design as you go sort of person. And wow. I mean, I have I have thoughts on this one because of his latest like mystery sock thing. I think that he's going to go more into that Stephen West of like do a couple rows of one thing, do a couple rows of another thing, do a couple rows of this thing.
I like that.
I'm wondering if that's the direction it's going to go with like sprinkled in some new techniques, but I don't know.
Oh, that totally floats my boat, because just as you're about to get bored of something, then you know you're going to move on to the next thing. And I don't wear shawls. We don't do it much here in the UK. I know wearing shawls in America is a big thing. What's it like over in Europe? Is it a big thing wearing shawls?
Maybe in like more southern Europe. Here, it's not so much.
No.
The Dutch definitely do not wear shawls. Maybe if you go to Scandinavia, they have some like really stylish ones.
Yeah.
But here, it's not really a thing.
They do look great because they are huge. My Go-Go Dynamo can wrap around several times and it keeps you warm. But when you literally outspan it does look stunning. And that's where I can understand, Jane, that can look overwhelming because you look at all those stitches. But yeah, you did it over various weeks. You did it over 4 weeks. You could do it. So Jane, sign up, let me know, and then we'll do it together. Oh,
if it makes you feel any better,
go on.
I knit the Aurora cabin shawl in like 10 days, which is a huge shawl with big stitches. So if I can do that, you can do eventually. Take your time with the mystery knitted on.
There you go, Jane. Let us know. Well, there we are. Oh, Jimmy. Game of Wool. I know we're supposed to finish, but let's have a quick chat about Game of Wool. Are you getting excited?
I am getting excited. I have a VPN and everything. I feel like from what I know about knitting, which is, I think, a decent amount in the knitting world, I don't understand how this thing will go. And I know that you have another podcast. You've cheated on me with something.
I know, I'm sorry.
And that you started talking about it.
I was wondering when I should broach that situation with you.
Well, I found it online. It was a surprise. But it was funny because you were going through at least the prompts from a year ago and what the stuff that the production company put out.
Yeah.
And I still am like, are they just going to be knitting swatches, the whole time or something? I am a fast knitter. I am a fast knitter, and I do not know if what they say makes sense or that even I could do it. So I'm really curious about this. And I mean, Tom Daly, beautiful. Hi, Tom. But Di and Sheila are my ride or die. I absolutely love them. I think they're fantastic. I'm so excited for this.
Absolutely. It's going to be brilliant. And regardless, because I know when people watch the Sewing Bee, they're like, oh, you only gave them 4 hours and you're telling them off, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. I think we're going to get over the time limit pretty quickly. We know you wouldn't normally do that in 5 hours or 8 hours or whatever. But the most important thing is we've got knitting, crochet, fibre crafts on mainstream telly here in the UK. That has to be celebrated, doesn't it, Jimmy?
It does, for sure. I think that there's so much of it that would bring stuff to new people. And I'm very curious about what it will do to our community that we've built up and how we can welcome others and teach others and really have fun and explore.
So you can sure as expect us to be talking about Game of Wool here. I will be talking with Lizzie on my special Game of Wool, but hey, we've got to get Jimmy's opinion, haven't we? It will be broadcast, we guess, at the moment, sometime in, we think, late October, November time. That's what we're going for when the Bake Off finishes here in the UK. If not, it'll be in the new year, but that's when we're hoping for. So I'm going to be talking about it with you at the end of our podcasts here of Untangled. So that means we've got Untangled, Unpicked, and Unraveled. It's a nice little trio of shows we've got, isn't it?
Look at you, you're all the branding.
Oh, brilliant. So we've got a great autumn to come. More of your questions, which you're sending in all the time, which we love. And then some Game of Wool chatter at the end of each podcast too. It's going to be brilliant. I am looking forward to it already. What have you got on your needles now, Jimmy? Now you finished your stinky one.
I finished my stinky one. I have a Guernsey on my needles, which is going to be a sort of make your own Guernsey design, which I'm very excited about. And then I have my Does Diamond sweater. So I have a Does Diamonds pattern. I have a cowl and a hat that you can go and purchase on Revelry. But it has this really cool motif, and I wanted it all over in a sweater. And it is going to be beautiful, but it is also the most difficult math in construction that I've ever had to try to figure out. So we'll get to it. But so far, it's okay.
Oh, I'm sending you thoughts and prayers across the airwaves.
Great. That's what everybody needs. Thank you.
And I'm sure many of our viewers will be. I've still got my cables. I'm just going round and round. I didn't realise how long my body is. And of course, I like it a bit longer too. Oh, my top down is going on forever and ever and ever. So I'm going to hang up the microphone now and go and do a couple more rounds of that. So... good. Always lovely chatting. That's it. That's another podcast done. That's half hour in the bank. Let us know if you're going to be doing the MCAL. You can do it along with me. That would be great. Otherwise, we'll see you next week on the next edition of Untangled. Cheers, Jimmy. Always a pleasure. See you later. Bye.
Bye.